Hey, it's Ron Felton here from Home Inspection Services in Stockton, California, and we're just going to give you a little bit of a tip on how you can check your plumbing, your sewer. When we get to a home inspection, normally what we do is we turn on as many faucets as we can for as long as we can to inspect to make sure that the sewer is actually not plugged up between the home and the city or somewhere in the home. And if a certain drain in the home were to back up and only one drain, then we would know we just have a problem in that area. But when all the drains or all the tubs start to back up simultaneously in the home, then we know we have a bigger issue, and that would be that we have a problem with the main sewer line between the home and where it ties into the city or the septic tank. In this case, we're on a city sewer service, and what we're doing is we've already done an inspection here today, but in the inspection we did know that within about 10 minutes of running all the faucets or fixtures in the home, what we found is the water just start to back up in this tub and in the shower and also the toilet. So what we've done is we've already uncovered the clean outs outside, and we'll show you what those are in a minute. And we've kind of diagnosed where the problem is, and we've actually already had the city out here to look at it, and they can't help us because it's actually on the property and not part of the city's responsibility. But we're going to kind of just give you a rundown of what that is here, so if you ever run into this problem in your own home, you can kind of diagnose it before you call somebody, or you might even actually be able to snake it out and fix it yourself. And so here we go. First thing we're going to do is, when we get here, we run the faucets. So we're going to turn this faucet on. We're going to turn this faucet on. And one faucet is probably not going to be enough to diagnose the problem. So what we're going to do is, we're actually going to go back into the other bathroom. If you can just kind of scoot back with me here for a minute. We're going to go into this other bathroom here, and we're actually going to turn on the water in this shower and this sink. But before we do that, I want to kind of show something to you here. And what's happened is, since the water's backed up into the bathroom, normally when we test the toilets, we flush them, and if there's a seeping leak, we don't normally get to find that out because water's always traveling in one direction. There's no way to really note that. But because the water has backed up and backed up high enough to be inside of the toilet, we know that there's a bad wax ring on this toilet. We can show you down here, a little bit of water has seeped out from behind the toilet. And when that happens, we know that the wax ring is not completely sealed. So we're also going to note on the report that this toilet needs to be lifted up and the wax ring needs to be sealed. Although personally, I don't think there's ever going to be a problem with the water making its way out because of the way that it's put together. It doesn't allow it to do that. But when water does back up, like in this situation, then it works its way underneath the wax ring, and this is what we have. So we're going to turn the water on here, and we already know it's going to back up. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go outside and we're going to take a look at the drain, and it's probably already starting to back up because it didn't take very long last time. But let's go take a look. Okay, as I stated before, we've already uncovered the drains and clean outs, and I'm looking down in there with my flashlight, and it's already starting to come back up inside of there. Go ahead and pull the camera right over the top of it. There you go. And we're going to put a little bit of light in there, and we'll just lower that down to where we can actually see it good. Get down in there. There you go. Alright, now what you see there is you can actually see the water starting to back up, and that didn't take very long. So when it doesn't take very long like that, we know that it's out somewhere not too far from where we're at now because it backed up rather quickly. And we had made sure that it was drained out all the way before we started filming this video clip. So anyways, here comes the water, and okay, if you can bring the camera back up this way, what we want to show you here is there is a group of trees in the front yard right here. And all that it takes is a very, very small seam inside of the pipe to actually cause the roots to get into the pipe, and they're looking for water, and generally that happens really late in the summer. Right now it's December, so somebody hasn't lived in this home for probably a couple months, and the roots have probably balled up inside of the pipe. And we know that the problem exists from there out to the street, and if you come this way, I'll show you why. This pipe is actually where the city calls it quits. They decide from here up to your house it's your responsibility. And if you look down inside of there, we don't see any water backing up. And when we don't see any water backing up, and we can see it trickling by, and I don't think it shows up in the camera, but I can also hear it trickling by, then I know that sewer is backed up somewhere between here and the other spot because water's coming out. And that's a simple way for you to diagnose it at home as well. If you know that water is not backing up in this pipe and 15, 20 feet away, you have water backing up through the home right there, then it's pretty easy to diagnose that it's these trees. And knowing how trees tend to ruin pipes, and that's why we have rooter companies that come in and root them out and take care of those problems, it's pretty easy to diagnose that that's the problem. Now what we would recommend in a situation like this is, number one, if you were a homeowner, this is being done in a transaction, so we're not recommending this, but if you were a homeowner, probably the first thing you do is either call a rooter company or head down to your local rental store and get yourself a snake and just root it out yourself and see how long you can get away with that. If it lasts for a couple years, then the cost of tearing all that out and replacing it, probably just better to root it out every couple of years and just live with it for as long as you can. Now, if this is a real estate transaction, what we're calling for is for a company that has a scope, and basically that's like a camera on a cable for TV, and what they're going to do is they're going to send a scope in there and they're going to see exactly where the fracture is in the pipe. If the pipe is offset, meaning that it's just shifted and it's not lined up properly, then we're going to recommend that the pipe be torn up and replaced. If it's just one of the joints in the pipe has separated slightly and roots are working through a seam, what we're probably going to do is recommend that they root it out and they just monitor it over the next couple of years, and maybe even get on a contract with a rooter company, much like people do with septic tanks, and have them just come out and clean it out on a regular basis for a less expensive price, but also so that way we don't end up over time having an emergency situation, which we're probably getting ready to have right now because we still have the water running in the house. So we're going to let you go. We're going to be back in a couple of days with another great tip for you. And until then, blessings.